Hello, first graders, and happy Monday. I'm going to be reading Chapter 7 and part of Chapter 8 of Junie B. Jones' One Man Band. So remember last time we were reading, the twins, Camille and Chenille, were going to teach everyone their cheers that their mom taught them. And Junie B. Jones told her class that she's going to try to juggle. So, Chapter 7 is called Fun with Me and Sheldon. At recess, Mr. Scary got the kickball team started on their practice. Then he came over to help Sheldon and me, and he helped us with our halftime show. First, he gave me a wood block from the music teacher's room, plus also he gave me a drumstick. If you hit this wood block while you march, you and Sheldon will be able to stay in step, he explained. I smiled, very thrilled, because hitting stuff is right up my alley. I whacked that thing with my drumstick, then Sheldon crashed his cymbals together, and ha! That was beautiful music. After that, Mr. Scary told us to form a line behind him. Then all three of us marched around and around the playground. And guess what? My woodblock kept us in step, very perfect. After a while, we marched over to a microphone. It was on a stand in the grass. This is where you're going to sing, Sheldon, Mr. Scary said. When you sing into this microphone, the whole audience will be able to hear you. Mr. Scary smiled. We won't turn it on yet, but you can still practice your song, okay? Okay, said Sheldon, real thrilled. And then he stood up straight and tall, and he walked over to the microphone, and he started to sing. Hark, herald the angel sings. He played the cymbals while he sang. It was very lovely, sort of, but Mr. Scary's face did not look delighted. He held up his hand. Could you hold up a second there, Sheldon? He called. Could you stop singing for a minute, please? Sheldon stopped. Mr. Scary walked over to the microphone. Okay, well, that's a very nice Christmas carol, Sheldon, he said, and you are singing it beautifully, but the trouble is, it really isn't Christmas, is it? So I'm wondering if maybe you know a different song. Sheldon thought for a minute. How about I Have a Little Dreidel, he asked. I know that one. Mr. Scary ran his fingers through his hair. Yes, well, that's sort of the same problem, isn't it? He said. It's not really Hanukkah either. Mr. Scary bent down next to him. Do you know any songs besides holiday songs? He asked. Or is there some other talent you have, Sheldon? Like, can you whistle maybe, or do a magic trick? Sheldon thought some more. I can blow milk bubbles out of my nose, he said, but that mostly only happens when I'm choking. Mr. Scary started rubbing the sides of his head. He was getting another headache in there, I think. Then all of a sudden, Sheldon's whole face lighted up. Hey, wait! I just thought of another song I could sing, he said. Happy birthday, Mr. Scary. I know all the words to Happy Birthday. And that isn't even a holiday song. Our teacher stood there a second. Then he nodded his head, and he said Happy Birthday would be just dandy. Sheldon started his performance all over again. He sang the song and played the cymbals very good. After he got done, he did a somersault. I do not know why. Then, hooray, hooray, it was finally time for me. I quick put down my wood block, then I reached into my pocket and I took out my pretend lemons and I started to pretend I was juggling. Juggling for pretend is way easier than juggling for real. I skipped and twirled and danced. Mr. Scary and Sheldon clapped and clapped. I did a bow. Then I picked up my wood block again and I hit it with my stick and me and Sheldon marched off the field. We jumped all around and did a high five. Then Sheldon picked me up and tried to twirl me around. Only he wasn't actually strong enough, and so mostly I just dragged on my toes. His face turned reddish and sweaty. He put me down and wiped his head with his sleeve. Whew, you weigh a ton, girl, he said. I did a smile. I like that, odd boy. I really, really do. Chapter 8 is called Halftime. Thursday, dear first grade journal. Yesterday, when I got home from school, Daddy was waiting for me. And he had bought me a juggle book at the bookstore. It was for children 6 and up, and 6 and up is my exact age. Daddy and I read each page very careful. Then I did the whole entire book, step by step. And what do you know? After I got done, I still couldn't juggle. I'm getting fed up with this stupid talent. Daddy said maybe I will learn it tomorrow. That man is just kidding himself. I am doomed. From Junie B., first grader. I closed my journal and I watched the clock for the rest of the afternoon because I just wanted to get home and practice some more. Daddy came home from work to help me again. He tried to help me juggle for hours and hours. Only the most I could ever juggle was 2 dumb lemons. And 2 dumb lemons is not even juggling. 2 dumb lemons is just throwing lemons in the air and catching them. I am not going to do it at school tomorrow, and I mean it. Friday. Dear first grade journal, I am at school. I do not know what went wrong. On account of this morning, I told Mother I broke my leg, and then I limped and limped all over the house, and the next thing you know, I was on the bus. I am wearing the halftime costume Mother made for me. My hat is made out of an oatmeal box. I look like a nitwit. From Junie B., first grader. I glanced my eyes all around the room. The children in room 1 looked very cute. The kickball players were wearing matching red and white shirts. All of their shirts said, "We are room number 1." The cheerleaders matched each other too. They had on red skirts and white sweaters. I looked at Sheldon. His daddy's band jacket was way too giant, and his band hat came over his ears. He looked like a nitwit too. I put my head down on my desk very glum. My oatmeal box hat fell on the floor. May started to laugh. I hope that doesn't happen when you juggle today, Junie Jones, she said very meanish. She raised her eyebrows. You are going to juggle, aren't you? I didn't answer that girl. Instead, I turned my head to the wall and I closed my eyes and I wished to turn invisible. I wished and wished with all my might. Then finally I opened my eyes again and I turned back to May and I stuck out my tongue at her. She stuck out hers right back at me. I did a sigh. Bad news. I wasn't invisible. At 10 o'clock, we went to the softball field. There were a million jillion parents there, I bet. Mother and Daddy were sitting on the first row of the bleachers. Grandpa and Grandma Miller were sitting right next to them, and they were holding my baby brother named Ollie. He was mooing. All of them waved at me. I did not wave back, because I was still trying to be invisible, of course. Me and Sheldon sat down together. He looked at the people in the bleachers. Then he quick turned around again, and he pulled his band hat over his face, and he giggled very nutty. Please stop doing that, I said. You are just calling attention to ourself. Sheldon put a symbol on his head. I rolled my eyes at that dumb guy, then I hid my face in my skirt, and I didn't watch the tournament. There were 2 games going on at once. Room 1 was playing room 2, and room 3 was playing room 4. I could hear the cheerleaders cheering real loud. Room 1 was winning, I think. I listened to the cheering for a very long time. Then all of a sudden, I heard lots of whistles and yelling. I looked up to see what happened, and oh no! Room 1 had just won the first game, and now it was time for halftime. Mr. Scary came over to get us. We are going to stop there, come back tomorrow to see what is going to happen.